This community means about as much to me as a festering bowl of dog snot. This community means about as much to me as a festering bowl of dog snot.
All right, I'm here with Greg from Greg's Game Room. Look what he got in the dealer's room.
I got the orange.
Hey, Maury!
Yeah, show me this.
Hey, Maury!
Who's calling Maury?
Maury!
Wait, who is that?
Hey, Maury!
Who's calling for Maury?
In here!
It's not me.
In here, Maury!
Who's calling for Maury?
Quick, turn the camera around. Turn it around. There he is.
Zack Snyder is a hack. The Snyderverse is dead. Long live the DCU.
Everybody's striking the band. We're going to Krazy Joe's concession stand. He's got popcorn, soda, and delicious wieners. Forget all the shows over here for grass is greener. He'll talk about movies and TV too. Krazy Joe reviews them all for you. He says go to eat, we'll go into one. Join Krazy Joe and get all the fun at Krazy Joe's concession stand. Krazy Joe's concession stand. He knows movies like the back of his hand. At Krazy Joe's concession stand. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Good morning. Welcome to Krazy Joe's Concession Stand. I'm Krazy Joe, and it is Tuesday, and here we are. We're live. We're live on a Tuesday, as is going to be. That's the plan. The plan is that we're going to go live on Tuesday nights at 10:30 going forward. But I'll tell you, it's not easy. It is not easy. It seems that every time I try to get these live streams going on some kind of regular schedule, something happens. Tonight was just a rough night here in our house, and I honestly didn't know if I had a stream in me. I really didn't. Just the kids arguing, homework drama, a lot of drama. By the end of it, you're just exhausted. You're just exhausted, and you think like, do I really want to go live? And as always, I don't know if anybody's showing up. I sent the link to a few people. Several people have the link. I know Little Movie Perp's not coming. I'd hoped he'd be here, but he's streaming on his channel, so you know. He's not going to be here tonight, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if anybody shows up. Lil Everett's here. Good to see you, Lil Everett. Yodelay who to you. James is here. Have I seen Little Monsters? Great 80s family horror film with Howie Mandel and Fred Savage. I have seen it. I gotta say, didn't care for that one. It just seemed like a little bit too much of a Beetlejuice ripoff. It seemed like they were trying to be Beetlejuice. Like that was the vibe I got from it, but I never cared for that one. But so how's everybody doing on this Tuesday night? What a Tuesday it's been. Man, I legit don't know if anybody's coming tonight. The link is out there. There are people that have it. Will they show? I don't know. But we'll see, I guess. But I'll tell you, if nobody shows, it'll probably be a real quick stream because I don't know that I have the energy to just talk to myself for an hour or so. Joey is here. Good to see you, Joey. How are you? I'm doing all right. Been better. It's been a night. All right, so I got some topics for tonight, but I kind of wanted to hold off on them until people arrive, if people are coming. So what can we talk about in the meantime? Does anybody got any questions? Hey, Degrassi's here. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Lisa is here. Degrassi, I sent you the link if you wanna join us. The link is sent to you via Twitter. Joey says, I recommend a movie called Sorry Baby. So far, it's my favorite movie of the year so far. I think Perp might have mentioned that one, but I'm not sure. It sounds familiar. I think he saw that one too. Right now, my favorites of the year, Superman. Superman is probably my favorite of the year. I saw Superman 9 times so far. No other 2025 release comes close in terms of how many times I've seen it. But Novocaine was very close with, in fact, man, what I keep saying it, but what a year for Jack Quaid, because Novocaine and Companion were both two of my favorite films of the year, and he was in both of them. What did I just see? Tron Ares. I don't know if anyone shows up. We'll probably be talking about Tron Ares a bit later, but that's one of my favorites of the year so far. Snow White, the Rachel Zegler Snow White, that was one of my favorites of the year so far. The Luckiest Man in America, which was the story of, it was a Paul Walker Hauser movie where he was the guy who kind of gamed the system on Pressure Luck. I was going to say the Whammy Show. That's one of my favorites. So yeah, we got some good ones this year. James says Hocus Pocus is one of his favorites. I've never seen Hocus Pocus. I've never had a desire to see Hocus Pocus, actually. I don't know. It looks like an unpleasant movie. I don't know. Something about, I know people love it, but it's a generational thing too. That movie, Hocus Pocus, was a generational thing because it came out in the 90s and bombed spectacularly. Now, I always say, box office is not a sign of quality. Never has been. Never has been. But I certainly didn't see it in the theater. A lot of people didn't see it in the theater. But what happened was a younger generation, younger than me, grew up watching that movie on VHS. They'd rent it at the video store, and it got that rental clout, if you will. It's sort of like my generation with Monster Squad. Monster Squad was a movie that bombed at the box office, but we all rented it and we fell in love with it. And now it's like this beloved film. The same thing with Hocus Pocus. It was like the younger generation just rented that film and they loved it. Yeah, Joey says Perp has mentioned that. Let's see. Degrassi says A House of Dynamite is the movie of this decade. I have not heard of House of Dynamite. I'm going to have to write that one down in my notebook here. A House of Dynamite. By the way, if anyone wants to go over to Perp's stream and write in the chat, get on over to Joe's stream. Tell him to get over here. He goes live like every night. I go live once a week. What, he can't be here? What? He's got to be live while I'm live? What the hell? He's live all the time. I'm live like once a week. And sometimes not even that. Come on, Perp. What are you doing? What are you doing, Perp? Go raid his chat. Tell him to get over here. Anyway, Joey says his top 5 are Sorry Baby, Long Walk. Oh God, Long Walk was good, man. Long Walk was good. Fantastic Four. I did not like the Fantastic Four. I didn't hate it. I wanted to love the Fantastic Four. The Lost Bus. I haven't heard of the Lost Bus. That one I'm not familiar with. And The Materialist, I've heard of that one, but I haven't seen it. I've heard mixed reviews of that one. James Borland wants to know if I've ever heard of the film Weapons. I have. And this is another one of the year's best movies. Really good. House of Dynamite, so effective, it punted Denis Villeneuve off of Nuclear War, a scenario, right into Dune 3. I'm going to have to look this one up. I don't know House of Dynamite. Lisa says, I like Hocus Pocus a little more because it's a local-ish movie. Hocus Pocus 2 has a bunch of real close filming locations. Yeah. 10/24 Netflix. Does that mean it's streaming on Netflix? The House of Dynamite? Is Eric joining? Unusual Facts asks. He's invited. I sent him the link. Yesterday, he was saying he thought he was going to show up. I don't know. Nobody has confirmed that they're coming tonight. I've had some people tell me they may be here, they may not be here, but nobody has actually told me I will definitely be there. I'm hoping. I haven't heard a word from Dan Reviews It. I invited Dan Reviews It. Haven't heard a word from him. Not only have I not heard from RJ in a while, I haven't seen RJ on a stream in a while. Where's RJ been? I don't know. I haven't even seen him around. So I don't know. I don't know. Lisa says, ever been to Salem? I have not. James says, Looney Tunes Day the Earth Blew Up is my favorite film of last year. Great movie. And James says, I don't know, Joe, Tron Ares has a lot to live up to, as I love the first 2 Tron films. Well, guess what? It is, guess what? Guess what, Unusual Facts? He's here.
Somebody just asked if I was going to be here.
Yeah, Unusual Facts.
Yeah, I looked down. I said, it's time for a show. So came and jumped in.
I asked Perp if he was coming, and he's like, no, I'm starting up my own stream. So we're competing with Little Movie Perp right now. And I was like, dude, you stream every night. I'm live like once a week. You can't come over here. So how you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. I did a video earlier today on Critical Drinker. Video somebody wanted me to react to, so I did that. Cut up some clips out of the stream from last night. So pretty much that's been my afternoon. I haven't really done too much. I was off today, so I didn't want to work too hard. You caught me last week with one of your videos that you put up, because I saw the thumbnail and the subject, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I clicked on it. And lo and behold, I'm in the video because it was a clip from one of the live streams. But I didn't realize it was going to be a clip from the live stream. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's like, I don't have to watch this. I live. You were there. You were present for the discussion. When I don't have a new video to do for my Eric's Reloaded channel, I typically upload a clip from the stream. Yes. I used to break down the clips on these streams, but it's time consuming. Well, it's really easy with StreamYard now. If you hit the B key on your keyboard, every time you change a topic, it marks it, and then you can go into the editing device here on StreamYard, and it shows you where to do things. So if you hit B right now, it will create a marker. Marker create? Oh my lord! How about that? And then when you edit afterwards, that marker will show you where that is, so you can do that, and that way you know how the topics are broken up in your videos. So thanks for the tip. I didn't know about that. Yeah, I do try to keep my streams under 2 hours, because then I could use the shorts, the auto generated shorts, which sometimes are pretty good, and sometimes they're garbage. Sometimes they're not great. Sometimes I hate it when they're over because so StreamYard, if you're listening to us right now, please make it so your AI clips that are at less than 3 minutes can be directly uploaded, because I hate having to download them from StreamYard and then re-upload them to YouTube because they're over a minute. Like, I get it. Instagram, Facebook, they're all minute-based clip, their reels and their stories and everything. But YouTube does 3 minutes. So fix it for us. I mean, I would use it a lot more if it did 3 minutes on those. So I have a topic, some of the topics I wrote down were things we actually talked about on your show last night, but I have a couple that we did not discuss on your show last night. And one of them, I want to hold off because I don't know if any of them are coming. Okay. But it's a Star Trek related topic. All right. And I invited a couple of the guys, all three of the guys, 3 of them. I invited all 3 of the guys from the podcast, The Topic is Trek, to join us, and I heard that at least one of them say he might stop by. Okay. So I want to hold off on that topic just in case they pop up, because that's their wheelhouse. The Topic is Trek. Are you familiar with them, by the way? I don't watch all of their content, but I know who they are. Yeah. Okay, that's that's the people I hang out with at Dragon Con. That's my friends Chuck, Craig, and Clinton. Okay. That's who I am usually out and about with, and Adam the Woo, and a couple other people.
Degrassi says, as a 12-year-old with a computer in 1982, I am a Tron lifer. Ares isn't my favorite, but it's easily the best produced of the three. I got a call today from my buddy Dave Perillo. To those of you who know Dave Perillo, he was at New York Comic Con. He was had a booth at New York Comic Con this past weekend. And I talked to him yesterday, and I said, I saw Tron, and he was like, is it any good? Jared Leto's in it. And I'm like, it's really good. I'm like, if you like and I know he does. I said, you love the original Tron. You're going to love this one. And I got a call from him today. He's like, I saw Tron Ares. That was better than Legacy. I'm like, I told you.
Well, that's the reason why I did my video or about the video clip from us, because I wanted it to go up amidst all of these other like very negative videos so people could hear, more of the positive that was, coming out from that, because I know there's a lot of negative content out there around Tron Ares, and I couldn't really contribute, but you and who was it? The other
Ronan, I think.
Ronan had seen it.
sent Ronan the link, by the way, on
Yeah.
Discord, but I don't know if he saw it. He didn't respond. So, oh, by the way, no, Joey, I love Tron Legacy too. I'm a fan of all three films, but Ares is. I don't want to give it away. If you haven't seen Ares, there's something that happens in Ares that is so directly connected. I don't want to give it away. There is a real almost fan service moment, but it works. I sometimes I get critical of fan service. Like I really get hard on Star Trek Picard season 3, because I'm like, Star Trek Picard season 3 I think overdid it. Like I'm like, when Odo's bucket got a cameo, I was just like, this is a step too far. You really had to give a cameo to Odo's bucket? Come on. But in fact, I always use Star Trek Picard season 3 as an example of why the Star Wars sequels are so good, because I always hear people say they didn't even give us a scene where Luke and Han and Leia were together on the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
How could they not give us that scene? And I say, because that's not how you write a story. You don't come up with a scene and write a story to get you to that scene. You write a story, and if it happens organically, okay. But if that doesn't fit into the story that you're telling, like, you don't retrofit the story to make that. And I always go to Picard season 3 when they all end up on the bridge of the Enterprise D. Did every Star Trek fan go, oh, it's so cool? Yes. But if you think about it for even a second, the plausibility of it, this ship that crashed, it doesn't make any sense. But so anyway, that's my rant. I apologize. Are you guys doing Scottish streaming? What is Scottish streaming?
Oh, you never heard of that before?
No.
I don't know how to explain it without it. I don't want to get your channel in trouble or whatever. Anyway,
do we do Scottish accents?
No. Like when you wear a kilt and you're a true Scotsman.
Okay.
No undergarments. So they're asking like waist.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Hoxie High School, have you ever watched my channel before? Have you ever watched my channel before? Because somebody put it in the chat. One of you is going to know. What's my catchphrase? What's my catchphrase? Come on, somebody. Degrassi, Lisa, somebody, get it in there. Because if you know my catchphrase, you know the answer.
Anyway, yeah, I've been asked that before. It's a thing on always wears his pajamas.
Bam. Golden Girls jammies today.
Okay. Very progressive for their time.
Yeah. Classic. Oh man, I totally lost track of. What were we talking about?
You got sidetracked. The last thing we're talking about was the Picard stuff and the fan service and everything like that. That's the last thing, the big topic. I don't know if you're going to switch over to something else or not.
Oh no, I guess the bottom line is just I love Tron Ares. I got to see it again. So, okay, look, we got Joey here. No, that wasn't Joey. Who said that? I lost it. Okay, Degrassi says RJ's freaking out because he's about to experience his first Disney dark age. He was saying something on Twitter the other day. Resident Justice, to those who don't know. He was saying something on Twitter the other day about Disney's really having a terrible year. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about... He said that he goes, they're going to need to do something. They're going to need to have a come to Jesus moment. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because the quality of what they put out this year has been there.
I don't understand. Look, no offense to anybody that feels this way, but I don't understand basing whether or not studios had a good year on how much money the shareholders have made. I don't understand that. That to me doesn't make any sense. Like, unless you're a finance person and you really enjoy talking about the numbers, you're not discussing quality. Money does not always like there's a issue with like comparing quality with value with the box office sales. We've seen over the years there's a lot of movies that end up becoming extremely big cult classics or very popular films or well-received films that just don't do well at the box office. There's a lot of factors for that.
Yeah.
If that's what you're talking about specifically, yeah, they haven't had the best year, but they're still the second highest grossing movie studio. Warner Brothers is number one, Disney is number two. And it's only slightly less. I think it's like a little bit under where Warner Brothers was the last time I checked. So, I mean, everybody's not, like everyone's having a rough year. They're the second highest grossing studio of the year. They're just not, individual projects aren't seeing those big numbers. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I always say you can't. In fact, Dwayne the Rock Johnson just said this, and I'm still angry about Dwayne for what he did to my beloved Shazam, but that's another story. He recently said you can't control the box office, and he's right. All these guys can do is make the best movies they could possibly make,
Right.
and if you look, the quality of what Disney has been putting out this year. I personally didn't care for Fantastic Four. I seem to be in the minority on that. I know a lot of people really loved it, and that's great. So most people seem to really like the Fantastic Four. Everybody loved Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, man, that was great. Everybody, I'll die on this hill. Everybody I know who saw the new Snow White liked it.
I didn't see it, so I can't really comment on it too much.
Yeah,
so.
everyone. One of my top 10 films of the year so far, by the way. But I don't know anyone who saw the film who said I saw the film and I hated it. The new Lilo and Stitch was really well received. What else do we got? Tron. Oh, this is a phenomenon with. As my friend Clinton likes to say, let's dog ear this for now. Okay. I got to get back to that to my thoughts on Tron. But I think Tron's really good. I'm hearing a lot of the Tron fans who saw the film. People didn't see it, but the people who saw the film that I know, who I've heard from, have liked it. So I don't know what Disney could do. It's like we're making good movies. If people don't, you can't make the people at gunpoint go see it.
I believe there are other factors outside of quality that are affecting movies right now, and they need to figure out what it is. I mean, like it's something to do. There's a disconnect with the culture of people that are going to the movies and what happened during COVID with like the streaming era. There's something in that they haven't really figured out. Now, my movie theater, the closest one to me, is a local chain. And it's like a full restaurant with a bar. It's always packed, always full. It only has 10 theaters inside of it, but they're always full. Anytime there's a movie opening, I go there, the parking lot is full of people. So for us individually, it looks like everything is doing well. You know what I mean?
Right.
Excuse me. It seems like everything is doing well because that theater is always busy. But the reason why they're busy isn't just because they're showing good movies, but the ticket prices are $7, okay, to get into the movie all the time. They're never more than like $7. I think $8 is the highest I've ever paid for a ticket at the theater. And they have a full menu of good food and a full bar and nice seats. And I think that makes all the difference. I think if these bigger chains started doing something like that, they might be able to pull people back in because the popcorn bucket stuff isn't going to be enough. I mean, it's going to help a little bit, but there's something else that they're missing, and they need to figure that out because there's a gap of viewership, which they've talked about. There's a whole article about this. There's a gap of viewership of people that are just choosing to not go to the movies. Yeah. And right now, the biggest things are the family films because people are taking their kids and their wives and their husbands and boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, to the movies. it's like the individual people that would go to a movie by themselves. Those are the people that are not filling up theaters right now, and they need to figure that out. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think it's the quality of the movies.
I think that Disney is suffering from decisions made by their competitors. I really don't think it's anything Disney's doing. I keep saying Disney's the only studio doing it right.
Yeah.
Because Disney has respected for the most part, the 90-day window. They've gone back to the 90-day window. I keep saying that the sense of urgency to go out to the movies is gone because everybody knows things are going to be back in a month. Now, Disney's the only ones not doing that. But the problem is, I don't think the general public breaks it down by studio. Like, I don't think they go, Universal's doing this, Disney's doing that. They just blanket think everything's going to be on streaming in a month.
And in their mind, it feels that way. You know what I mean? It feels that way to them. It does not necessarily logically that way, but it feels that way to them.
Yeah, like Snow White. Let's go back to Snow White. Several months ago, Snow White hit Disney Plus, and I kept hearing people go, this movie is so bad, it's on streaming already. And the funny thing was, it had been in theaters for about 60 days before it came to streaming, which is a nice long run.
And that's the average for Disney right now is around 60 days. So
and it's like it was not rushed. It was not rushed at all. But there was this idea, but people were going like, ha, look at that. It's already on streaming. And it's like, that's about average. Like this didn't come out any quicker. In fact, it was longer. Than like if this was a film by Universal, it would have been on streaming 30 days ago. So
I also feel like how long before people just stop saying that? Because there's a lot of movies that sometimes are in theaters for 2 weeks and they're on streaming automatically. And I never see them like attacking those movies. You know what I mean?
That's the contract Universal made because it used to be that a movie theater would not show a movie. They had a contract with all the studios. They said, we won't show your movie if we don't get 90 days exclusive. And they knew, like Universal knew, if we put this thing out on streaming or home video or something before 90 days, our next movie won't get into the theater. But during the pandemic, Adam Aaron at AMC, who is the Antichrist of movies, signed the deal to let Universal put their stuff out quicker. And what Universal does is, if it's not performing well, they'll put it out in 2 weeks. If it is performing well, they'll put it out in 30 days. But I keep arguing, people don't know that. Like, and as my friend Dave Sundstrom once said, it's almost like the studios are rewarding people for not showing up.
No, that's it. It's teaching people. It's like the little bell for like dinner with your pets or whatever. Is if people know, hey, if I don't go see this for the first 2 weeks, it'll be out on home video, whatever, in like a month, and then me and my friends can just come in and rent it together and pay $2 each to watch the movie at our house and never have to leave a house. You know what I mean? And once you've taught them that, they think that every studio does that. They're like, all of them do that. And what you're saying about Snow White makes me think they just assume that that's what happened with Snow White. They didn't go see Snow White for a couple of weeks, and then it was magically out on home video in 30 days. You know, and that's just not the way it is.
Yeah. Let me take a couple comments here. First of all, Hoxie High School says super chat goal is Hoxie High School. This channel hasn't seen a super chat come through in a year. If we get $1, we will have beaten our goal. But I will tell you this, if a super chat comes in, an old friend who hasn't been heard from in a long time will reemerge. Super chat Hippo will sing his song to you.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Gary from Metro Obelisk Radio is here. I haven't seen Gary show up in a while. Gary, if you want the link, you can join us. Every long-running studio has had its ups and downs. People forget that MGM previously ruled Hollywood throughout the 40s and 50s. MGM's still around, but they aren't as prevalent as they were before. True. And he also says, I believe the biggest issue with movie theaters is the price of tickets. I'm going to disagree with you there. Ticket prices have gotten too high for anyone to take a chance on a movie like Elio or The Bike Riders. Okay. It has never been cheaper to go to the movies. It is dirt cheap to go to the movies right now because of AMC's A-List and Regal Unlimited. I pay $20 a month. That's it. $20 flat rate. If I didn't have it, it would be $20 per ticket. So for the price of one ticket, I see as many movies as I want per month. Now, I think the problem is most people don't know about this because where do they advertise it? In the theater.
Right.
You're preaching to the choir. The people who've already.
You should see ads for it here on YouTube and places where they should be running it in different spots. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But yeah, there you go. And I agree with Joey. Every movie should go back to a 90-day window. You're singing my song, Joey. That's what I've been saying. And Joey also says Tom Cruise has his movies in a 90-day window. And when you got movies with like Tom Cruise in them, you can't lose. So Gary says send him the link. Okay. Hang on, Gary. I'll send it to you. I gotta dig up your email. So just bear with me. Bear with me. And I have to make sure I have the right one because I know you have an old one too. And Caitlin wants to know if this is streaming to OnlyFans as well. Maybe. No, that's the other guy I used to stream with.
Oh,
I won't name names, but that's the other guy. All right, I'm going to hit that B button now that you just taught me about because here's something I want to talk about, and it does go back to Tron. You mentioned a lot of the negativity that's been online around where Tron's concerned, right? Now, this is a question I had. In fact, I got somebody very upset. One of my viewers was not happy that I said this last year. Gary, I can't remember if it's the one with a 1 at the end or the one without the 1 at the end. So right now I'm sending it to the one with the 1 on the end. And if that's not it, let me know. Okay. So about a year ago, one of my viewers got very, very upset that I said this, but Joker 2 came out and nobody saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It bombed. It did so bad. Nobody saw that movie. But the next day on Twitter and Facebook and all social media, all I kept reading about was how horrible the movie was. It's so horrible. It's so horrible. It's so horrible. And people weren't saying, I don't want to see this. That's not what I was seeing. I wasn't seeing people say, I'm not interested in this movie. I don't want to see this movie. They were saying, this movie sucked. I hated this movie. This movie was garbage. And after seeing that all over the place on social media, I finally came to a realization. These people are lying.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't see the movie.
Yeah.
Because if everyone that was telling me how shitty they thought the movie was saw the movie, it wouldn't have done so poorly. Now, now it's on HBO Max. Now it's on Blu-ray. I don't know. You people may have seen it now.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about the movie, I'm not going to challenge your thoughts now. If you like the movie, you like the movie. You don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. All I'm saying is, if all those people at that time, opening weekend, had actually seen the film, it wouldn't have opened so low. And I'm seeing the same thing right now with Tron. I'm not seeing people say, I'm not interested in this. I don't want to see this. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing this sucked. This was shit. I hated this. Okay. Then how come the box office is so low if all of you saw this movie?
Right. It's almost like they're just repeating what they're seeing other people saying on the internet or reading an article and just saying what the article said. That's usually what I assume when I see stuff like that.
And by the way, Gary from Metro Obelisk.
Hello. Is my mic coming through?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Haven't heard from you in a while. Welcome.
Yeah, it's been like a year. I think the last time I was on the show was the watch party with Anna and the Apocalypse.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was about a year ago now.
Yeah, Christmas time.
Yeah.
I love that movie. So, Gary? What are your thoughts there? I don't know if you heard what we were saying, but I was just saying
your thoughts on what particular topic? Tron Ares,
Tron, and last year with Joker. I kept saying if the opening weekend box office was that low, then all the people on social media saying how much they hated the film, some of them had to be full of crap.
I think that the biggest issue
seen it or would have had a bigger opening.
The biggest issue with Joker 2 was that they turned it into a musical. The jukebox musical. I think that turned a lot of people off right from the get-go.
Well,
You can't ignore that may have had something to do with the lower box office. Is that here's the first movie, which was more of like a serious character study drama, and then you do a sequel and you do this jukebox musical where now the Joker's entering into like a song and dance, and now it feels more like a parody of itself.
Okay, but do you think those people actually saw the film though?
I don't think that they saw it. I never saw Joker 2. I never did a review of it, but I remember doing a video at the time, and I do remember highlighting that I think one of the biggest issues was turning it into the jukebox musical. But no, everyone going out trashing the movie, saying that, you know, that Joker 2 killed my kid or something like that, didn't actually watch the movie for themselves. I was never going to watch it because it was a jukebox musical, but I'm also not going to share my opinion and say it's the worst movie ever made because I refuse to watch it.
You see, yeah, that's my point exactly.
I'll do an analysis for why I believe that the box office didn't do as well as the first movie, but I'm not going to come on and say it's the worst movie ever made.
Okay, I agree with that. But I was seeing that again this weekend with Tron. I was just seeing people say how much they hate the movie.
Do you think Jared Leto has anything to do with that?
Oh, I think Jared Leto has a whole lot to do with that.
I think Jared Leto has a lot to do with it, but I don't think he's the only factor. Tron has always been a niche franchise. Tron, the original Tron, was not. That's the opinion. When we talk about a movie that failed at the box office and then found an audience later, Tron's the epitome of that. And then Legacy was moderately successful at the box office, but it was no huge hit. It was moderately successful. So you've already got a niche franchise, and then in these post-COVID times when the box office is down across the board, that movie was going to struggle no matter who starred in it. And then you put a divisive actor in on top of that. The cards were all stacked against that movie.
Yeah, I did a video talking about Tron Ares very recently and talking about how Disney just mismanaged it basically all to hell by Disney vaulting the original movie. And then after Tron Legacy, they didn't capitalize on it because even though Tron Legacy didn't exactly set the world on fire, it didn't do too bad at the time. And originally, if you remember Tron 3, the one that was canceled in 2015, was going to be more of a direct sequel, but that got shelved.
Same director,
Joseph Kosinski.
Kosinski, yeah, they were days away from shooting.
Yeah, and then Tomorrowland came out with George Clooney, bombed, and then Disney got scared and canceled Tron 3, and now they try to revive it 10 years later. Who's still interested in a sequel to Tron Legacy 15 years later? Even though it's not going to be a direct sequel to Tron Legacy. But Joe, to be fair, you are from the generation where you probably saw Tron when you were very young.
Oh, yeah. But
when did you first see Tron? Did you see it in theaters or on VHS?
I saw it on the Disney Channel back in the 80s.
Okay.
I loved the visuals, but I didn't get it because it was very much about, nobody had a computer back then. Nobody had it. Like, I saw it again in college. And by the time I got to college, everybody had a computer. And suddenly all these like terms that they were using registered, and I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. I didn't get this when I was like 7 or 8 years old. The lights were pretty. So it was, I think it was, I fell in love with that movie in college.
Okay. Because what I was about to say, Joe, because I am a lot younger than you, if you can't tell. I'm almost 30. But when I was coming up in the 2000s, Tron was never played on the Disney Channel. It was never even referenced. So when Tron Legacy came out in 2010, my first question was, what's Tron? And it was my dad that had to explain to me what Tron was. But the last DVD release, I believe, was 2002. I know they re-released it just before Legacy came out or just after. I don't remember when. That's when I saw it. And then my first thought was, why was everyone losing their minds over this movie? But I was like 13 or 14 by the time I first saw it. And again, I had never heard of it prior to Tron Legacy. So my opinion is, had I not seen the original Tron, I probably would have enjoyed Legacy, but I didn't like the original Tron. Because to me, it just looked very dated, and it's like, I don't understand why everyone's losing their minds over this. And so is Legacy going to be that bad? I waited to see Tron Legacy. I didn't think it was that bad, but I do believe that my experience with the first movie soured my my opinion on Legacy.
Interesting.
And I haven't seen Legacy since.
I've never understood when people say the original Tron looks dated. Like I don't get that. Because no movie ever looked like it before and no movie really ever looked like it after. So I'm like, there's not a lot of comparison there. The closest you had was Automan, the TV show.
Oh, yeah, I remember that show. Yeah.
I have it on DVD.
Do you really?
Yes. So, Jay Casale says, I got into Tron because of Jeff Bridges as Kevin Flynn. Biodigital jazz, man. And Gracie says, didn't Ares start out as an original spec that was transposed into a Tron sequel? That I don't know, but I do believe, and I've heard people say they don't like the casting of Jared Leto, but it's my understanding that the movie only happened because it was a passion project for Jared Leto. It's my understanding that Jared Leto got that movie made, basically.
Another fun fact is that Jared Leto was originally considered for Tron 3 back in 2015. That was pre-Suicide Squad, just to put that into context. So the casting of Jared Leto in Tron Ares is not that surprising. But now we're talking Jared Leto post-Suicide Squad, when he was sending the gifts to all of his co-stars, which really kind of soured his reputation.
And post-Morbius as well. So
yeah. Yep. The movie that got turned to a meme, then Sony re-released it in theaters to try to capitalize on the meme, and it only made like $50,000 after that.
And you know what? It's not a terrible movie. It's not a great movie either, but I've seen a lot worse.
I think there's another version of that movie that existed before that one. If you go back and you watch the original trailers, there's like a chunk of stuff that's just not even in the movie that's in that first trailer.
Yeah, Morbius. I've seen so many worse movies than Morbius. Like, it's one of those movies that people like love to. It's a punching bag, and I don't think it totally deserves it. But I don't want to go off on too big of a tangent about Morbius here. But but it's the same thing with Madam Web. Like, I love the fact that Madam Web exists. I don't think it's a great movie, but that's a brave movie. Like, that's a big swing. That's hey, let's do a superhero movie about a really obscure character who really, her superpower is that she can see the future. Like, I mean,
I think they advertised that movie incorrectly.
Yeah.
I think the movie was advertised as like a Spider-Woman, Spider-Girl movie, and that's not what it was.
There's a great movie in that premise. And I'd love to see the director's cut, because I don't believe that the film that hit the
I feel the same way about Morbius. I don't think the Morbius movie is the one that they originally intended to make.
Oh, yeah, because there were scenes in the trailers that weren't in the movie.
Yeah, in that first trailer, there's probably 50% of that trailer is not in the final film. So
the fun thing to think about is, do you think that Morbius would have been as successful as Madam Web on streaming had it not starred Jared Leto? Because Madam Web did explode on Netflix when it first hit. I think, when was it, in May when it came to Netflix, or April? I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But it did become a streaming hit, and I've always said that the reason it became a streaming hit was because it has the distinction of being one of, if not the worst movie of 2024, and you're already paying for Netflix regardless if you watch the movie or not. So you may as well watch Madam Web, and Madam Web was a huge hit on streaming.
I think everybody wants another Showgirls. They want one of those movies. It's like so campy and badly done throughout the movie that they can just, it becomes like a quotable film. And I don't know if we're ever going to get that again.
Yeah. What was the line? He was in the Amazon. He was in the Amazon with my mother studying spiders just before she died.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, I only remember that because John Mulaney made fun of it at the Oscars. If you remember, when he took the stage to present the award for, I think, Best Sound or something like that.
By the way, Joey says Tron the Ride, Tron Light Cycle Run, great ride at Magic Kingdom. I finally rode it in January of this year, and it's a great ride. It really is. It's way too short. It's about a minute long. You're in line. Really? Yeah, you're in line much longer than you're.
You don't do the fast pass at Disney to get into the.
Well, that one wasn't. I don't think that one was taking fast passes because it was brand new. So
okay, it was like that when they did the first. I was there when they opened up the Avatar ride.
Caitlin Creates is guessing our ages.
Well, Caitlin, as of the end of this month, I have to do some quick math here. I will be 29. So I am probably the youngest on this panel, but I'm just assuming. I know Joe's older than me.
With Eric and I think it comes down to months. I don't know.
I think it's days, actually, right?
Well, I don't know your birth month.
My birthday is March.
Oh, mine too. Okay,
so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think it's days because we're exactly the same age.
Did we discuss? I mean, I know we discussed the age, but I didn't know. I don't remember. But then again, I got the memory of a flea.
I said something about my birthday, and then you said, "Oh, mine too," or something, and it was like, "Oh, so I guess it's in the same month." That's why I thought you remembered that. It was from like a while back when we were first talking.
I love the fact that my birthday falls directly between two of my childhood heroes.
Actually, when is your birthday?
March 21st.
I'm older than you.
Okay.
Mine is March 5th.
Okay. There you go.
So I'm the oldest.
Caitlin, by days. by about 2 weeks. So Lisa's got it half right. Yeah. My birthday falls directly between March 20th, which is the birthday of both Mr. Rogers and Big Bird, and March 23rd or March 22nd is the birthday of William Shatner. So I'm right between Fred Rogers and Captain Kirk.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
All right.
So who was it that left that comment? You were wrong. I'm the oldest.
Caitlin creates. Yeah.
Well, she was right in the sense that I was the youngest.
Yes, that's
so
true.
You were half right.
I think it's my hairline. I have. Well, I don't know if I've ever seen your hairline. You always have a hat on.
I have like a side shaved head, but I've got like full.
You see, now, yeah, you look younger.
Yeah,
because of the hair. So, all right, I'm gonna move on to another topic here.
All right, hit your B.
There you go. All right, another thing I want to talk about. It's been going around social media. There is a website that really doesn't deserve to be discussed, but we're going to discuss them. They are one of the biggest bullshit websites around. If you're getting your internet news, if you're movie news, there's a couple sites you don't want to go to. You don't want to go to We Got This Covered. Well, I don't hear from them too much anymore.
No.
I think they've died off, but We Got This Covered was notorious.
This was like one of the original ones.
Bounding into Comics,
That's
or as Dane calls it, shitting into diapers.
Mm-hmm.
I like that name. They're terrible. But one of the worst is Cosmic Book News.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmic Book News, who if they tell you it's raining out, you can leave your umbrella at home because nothing they say is ever true. They put out a story the other day that said James Gunn is out at DC due to the Warner Brothers sale. And people have been running with this. I've seen other news sources pick that up with We Got This we got this Cosmic Book News as their source. Like, so you're now seeing it reported all over the place by multiple sources, but the source they're leading back to is a bullshit source.
Right.
So I'm getting texts from family, friends, people who don't really follow this kind of stuff too closely, and they're like, "Oh my God, I just heard James Gunn's out," because this is spreading.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to remind people, there's no truth to this. Number one, Warner Brothers hasn't been sold yet. Yes, a bid was made by Paramount. Warner Brothers turned it down. Doesn't mean it won't get sold, but Warner Brothers hasn't been sold yet, number one.
But it also doesn't mean that they would fire James Gunn either. Like, whoever buys it may not get rid of James Gunn. You know what I mean?
In fact, I would argue that getting rid of James Gunn would be one of the worst things you could possibly do, because first of all, the DC universe has just been rebooted. To reboot it again too soon, it would be disastrous.
And they have projects in motion that are connected to James Gunn.
Right.
So that would be
right.
That would be such a massive waste of money. It would just be a huge waste of money.
But even if, like, let's say for the sake of argument, you don't like James Gunn. Let's say you don't like what James Gunn's doing. It doesn't change the fact that to reboot again would be remember when Spider-Man was getting rebooted every 5 minutes and like people were getting frustrated? Like, people, they want something. They want a show of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
They want a show of confidence. And if you are going to come in and say, we're going in another direction again now, after 1 year of a new DC universe, you might as well just never make a DC movie again, because you're
Yeah.
just not going to have the faith of the audience at that point. But on top of that, despite what you may have heard, Superman was a hit.
Yeah.
So I know there's people online who swear up and down it wasn't, but it was. It was reported. We did last night on your show. We talked about Forbes and some of their reporting
That just leads back in a circle. It's not. It
Right.
doesn't even. There's no actual source. It's just a random
right.
bit of like tax information from the UK.
But Variety reported that people connected to the movie, people who actually are in the know, said it grossed 125 million in profit. I'm going to trust the people who worked on the film before somebody who doesn't have the numbers and is just kind of trying to do the math in their head based on
numbers that are so I've done so much digging and work on trying to figure this out. We will never know the exact numbers when it comes to a production budget. We'll never know that. It's not, you can't find it in any filings. Yeah, it would have to be for sale first. You can't find it in filings. If you look at the fiscal report every quarter, you'll never find it there. They don't release that stuff. Other than James Gunn saying in an article, yes, it costs this much. You could dig and dig and dig. It's going to be really hard to find an exact amount on a budget. They always say estimated. That's the word they use. So when these articles are being made, they're being made on estimated numbers. They don't even have the exact numbers.
Exactly.
I would like to introduce a rebuttal that if you trust the people that work on the movie, do you remember when Black Adam came out and Variety was reporting that it lost like $50 to $100 million? And then Dwayne Johnson himself tried to come out and say, no, it actually was profitable and made $50 to $100 million.
Well, I know they were probably freaking out too, because investors were like, wait.
I think the stupidest thing that James Gunn did was immediately announce a reboot when there were still 4 movies in the pipeline ready to come out.
Yeah,
with Black Adam being one of those, Shazam being the other. You had Blue Beetle, and was it Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom? I think it was
Aquaman 2. Here's the thing. In retrospect, that turned out to be a mistake.
Yeah.
And I know it was a mistake because when movies like Shazam 2 and The Flash and Blue Beetle were opening, I go on Facebook, you get the ads. You get the ad, go see this movie. AMC Theater posts an ad, Regal Theaters posts an ad, Warner Brothers posts an ad. Go see the movie. Read the comments. And the comments would be filled with people saying, why would I go see this? This universe is dead. Why would I go see this? They're restarting. Yeah. Why would I go? So in retrospect, knowing what we know now with 2020 vision, it turned out to be a mistake. But at the time, I don't think that was a mistake anyone could have predicted, because I don't think anyone could have predicted the audience would have reacted that way, because every one of those movies, in fact, I was really depressed at the time because it sent a message to me that the audience isn't interested in stories.
Right.
Because Shazam 2 tells a complete story. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. Blue Beetle tells a complete story. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. All of those films do. There's a complete story there. And if the audience is like, I'm not interested in your story if it's not connected to something else, if the post-credits stinger doesn't take me into something else, I'm out.
We also had The Flash, right? That was
Joe, to be fair, DC sold itself as a cinematic universe going all the way back to Man of Steel. Yeah, so if you're gonna reboot a cinematic universe, it requires commitment. And you're gonna announce it with 4 movies left in the pipeline. Why would they waste their time going to see these 4 movies, knowing that this cinematic universe is going to get rebooted anyway with David Corenswit?
But how's that a waste of time? Because take a look at Shazam 2, one of my favorite films that year. Love that movie. It didn't continue into another movie.
I would say Blue Beetle also had its own individual story as well. That was a separate thing.
Oh, every one of them did. I mean, Aquaman 2 was picked.
I would say Flash doesn't, though. Flash does connect a lot to previous DC things.
But if you're building out a cinematic universe and you're not going to do anything with Blue Beetle, why am I going to waste my time to go watch the Blue Beetle movie knowing that this is not going to pay off later. Like that's the whole foundation
But then
of a cinematic universe.
But then why go see Sinners? If we don't know Sinners is going to continue into another movie, why go see one battle after another? Why go see Weapons? Like if are we only seeing movies because it's going to connect to something else? And just because you say, well, it was part of a connected universe, okay, but each film is still its own thing. Like if you look at the MCU, with the exception of like the Avengers movies, every MCU movie is a standalone. You can watch Iron Man, you could watch the Hulk, you could watch Captain America, the First Avenger, and you don't have to continue on. You've got a complete story there. Now, you can continue on, and you are rewarded later on when you see how all the things connect, but it doesn't cheapen the individual film any.
So you're coming at it from the standpoint that that it makes you sad because you feel like people view those movies as one long continuous story and not individual pieces of art.
I loved the MCU.
Right.
I was a huge fan of the MCU. Still am. I go see all those movies, see them all opening weekend. And when the audience reacted that way, well, I'm not going to commit to this movie if I know there's not a continuation. My feeling was the MCU was a mistake. The MCU was a mistake. If it taught people that all or nothing. I
think it might have been retaliation, though, right? Like, what if people love that universe and they're like, "Oh, so you're just going to cancel my universe without giving it an ending? I'm not going to go and see your movies." You know what I mean? What if people felt that way? Like they were resentful towards the studio canceling that universe. Maybe they loved all those characters and they just were like, "I'm not going to pay to go see this because you're just going to cancel it anyway." You know what I mean? Maybe they felt that way about it.
I guess I like I keep saying, in retrospect, it definitely was a mistake, but I don't think anyone could have predicted it would have been.
Do you know what the biggest mistake Warner Brothers made prior to hiring James Gunn and him announcing the reboot of the DCEU?
What's that?
Take a wild guess.
Well, I think it's releasing the Snyder Cut.
Ding, 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 ding. You nailed it.
One. That was a big one. Yeah.
Because that genuinely split the fandom right then and there, because now you had a contingent of people that wanted to see Zack Snyder's version continue, and Warner Bros. Made it very clear that they were not going to continue Zack Snyder's DCEU, so why release the Snyder Cut of Justice League if you were never going to build on that? Because now all you've accomplished is you just pissed a lot of people off right there. And then you have James Gunn come in and say, "Oh, we're going to reboot the DCEU, but we still have 4 movies coming down the pipeline, so I hope you stick around for all those." Like, it's one shit show after another after another.
I've said for a while the Snyder Cut was a reward for bad behavior, right? Like,
I agree.
I think releasing that was like, hey, there's a loud minority of people on the internet who keep complaining about what we're doing, so we're going to give them something for doing that. But when everybody else, like the fans that are out here supporting the stuff that you're doing already, are crying, "Hey, give us! We want more of this. We want to see more Wonder Woman. We want to see more Aquaman. We want more Batman or whatever." They don't do that. They go and they invest money into a streaming launch of the Zack Snyder Cut, which is like a 4-hour whatever it was, put together. Which, by the way, Zack Snyder also filmed things that are essentially against the guidelines of like the studios and things like that. Like, he filmed some of this in his yard, his house, during the COVID situation, and apparently a lot of that was not. They ended up not being able to use it because it was a violation of the guidelines they had set in place. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that, but I feel like they did that, and then that just reinvigorated all of that toxic fan base to thinking that sell the Snyderverse to Netflix or continue the Snyderverse and restore the Snyderverse. Like, it just became even bigger. And I think they kind of painted themselves in a corner by doing that.
And remember, there was no Snyder Cut. Warner had to spend like $70 million going back and actually shooting the Snyder Cut.
Apparently
so no Snyder Cut existed.
Apparently there was more spent. Apparently it was more than that. That was the budget they gave them, but they actually went over budget on that, apparently.
I agree completely with Reggie 19 here. Guess I'm a dinosaur. I don't need universes. I just need good movies. Let's go back to Shazam 2. I was so excited to see Shazam 2. Shazam 1 was one of my favorite movies. I couldn't wait to see Shazam 2. I knew going into Shazam 2 that the universe was ending. But I'll throw another wrinkle at you. Shazam could have been, James Gunn said so. Shazam could have been folded into the new universe.
Yeah, those movies could have been done that.
He said, if you go out and support this film, if this film's a hit, we may retroactively incorporate it. So the people who were saying, I'm not going to see this because it's not going anywhere, they kind of made it not go anywhere, because had they seen it, it might have.
Okay, but I want to point out, Zachary Levi had a big controversy about 2 weeks before that movie got released.
I don't remember that.
I mean, I know he's had one since.
On social media, he went off about like some sort of vaccine related thing or something like that about 2 weeks before the movie came out, because we were covering like weekly, like the stuff I do on my channel now. We were doing that, and I remember telling Paigey at that time, I'm like, this is disastrous for this movie, because you have the main actor coming out and essentially like being anti-vax and all of this. Like, it's fair if that's his opinion. Like, he can hold those opinions for himself, but he was posting it on like Instagram and stuff like that. There was a whole article on it around the time the movie came out. So I think that probably did affect some of the sales of the movie.
Now, you see, I don't remember that one. I do know he went full MAGA after the movie.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Hold on.
But he also had, I think, a fake controversy. I call it a fake controversy, where the Snyder Bros got really angry at him because he said, and I agree with him, he was right. His movie Shazam 2 was up against John Wick 4. And he said, you can't take the kids to see John Wick 4. You can take them to see Shazam. And people were like, you hear that? He said, don't see John Wick 4. See his movie. But he was right. I did take my kids to see Shazam. Shazam was rated PG-13. I'm not taking my kids to see an R-rated film. It's like when people got angry at Brie Larson for saying, you need more diverse critics. She didn't say anything wrong. People got angry at a statement that was factually true.
See, I don't think Zachary Levi could have brought down Shazam by himself, because a lot of times whenever someone says something stupid, those controversies tend to blow over given enough time. It happens all the time. I think what killed Shazam Fury of the Gods was Dwayne Johnson being a big baby about it.
That's another problem.
And refusing to agree to fight Shazam, despite the fact that Black Adam and Shazam have been arch rivals since when, the 1970s? Because I know they didn't start out that way, but I think it started in the 60s or the 70s, where they pitted Black Adam against Shazam. But still, Dwayne Johnson was a big baby and didn't want to do it, and instead he insisted on fighting Superman. And then that led to the announcement that Henry Cavill was coming back. And then 2 months after that announcement, Henry Cavill came out and said that he was no longer coming back as Superman, which I felt at the time could have hurt James Gunn's Superman, but hindsight being 2020, it really didn't. But still, we need to acknowledge that one of the things that really hurt Shazam Fury of the Gods was Dwayne Johnson being such a big baby and refusing to fight Shazam.
There's 4 things I found here that happened around the release of the movie that like kind of hurt things. So that was one of them here. It says that he blamed Dwayne Johnson on behind the scene disputes, and it affected things like Hawkman and Cyclone that were going to be teased in Shazam that never got teased because of Dwayne Johnson wanted to keep Black Adam completely separate from Shazam, which I think is kind of weird, to be honest. But the other things he did, what was that? Sorry.
Oh no, I was about to rebuttal. Why would you join a cinematic universe if you don't want to connect with said cinematic universe? That's the logic.
And he was the producer on the Shazam movies too.
Yeah. But he also had this thing about fighting Superman, which, yes, Black Adam has fought Superman in the comics before, but Black Adam is primarily an antagonist for Shazam. That's where the character comes from. But the other controversies he had here was that he posted a bunch of anti-vax stuff and attacked Pfizer, saying Pfizer was a bigger threat to the world than a bunch of other things. He mocked the Free Britney movement, making fun of trying to get out of her conservatorship, and saying some disparaging things about that. He also made a post mocking Women's Day, basically some very ill-timed posts making fun of the different influencers, I guess, making positive things in regards to International Women's Day. I can't find what those were because it was on TikTok, obviously. But all of that was going on right before the movie got released. It was a bunch of controversial stuff that he did.
It's a shame. He's such a good actor. Like I'm
Yeah.
a hardcore Chuck fan. Like I love Chuck. I love the Shazam movies. He's got talent, man, but he just.
I said his publicist was probably kicking himself in the head during that month. He's like, "Oh my god, could you have just waited?"
He was also in that Heroes sequel series.
Yeah, in fact,
remember
that's when I interviewed him. He's been on this channel. I interviewed him during Heroes and his game show, Geeks That Drink. Remember that?
Mhm.
He hosted a game show. Couldn't have been a nicer guy, you know. But you know, he's. I don't know. I don't like where he's gone. By the way, Hoxie High School, you know, asked earlier what the super chat goal is. Like I said, I haven't had a super chat for a long time.
$1?
Let's say.
We need the Dwight Schrute. We need $1 and a penny.
See, I was gonna go old school 80s and say $2. I want my $2. Somebody give us the Better Off Dead goals.
I do the goal. I have the goal thing set up so it throws confetti down when we hit the goal on mine.
Sean
I don't know if you have that one.
Good to see you, Sean. I don't know how you do those things. Like I know, like you have like you getting up and dancing. Like, and I've seen other people do that. I don't know all the tricks. I guess
I have to do a crash course with you one day and like show you all the ropes.
Caitlin again says, "No way, you're the oldest."
I don't know what to tell. I'm not going to show my ID. Like...
Only by 2 weeks, though, man. Like we're 2 weeks apart. So, all right. What do I don't have. I don't have those kind of clips, but I do have weird things like this.
Bill, you put something in my drink, didn't you?
Where did that come from?
I was watching TV one night, and I saw that clip of the woman going, "Bill, you put something in my drink, didn't you?"
It made you think of Cosby.
And as soon as she said, "Bill, you
Right.
put something in my drink," I was like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing with that clip." So, oh boy! All right, I don't think that the topic is Trek guys are showing up tonight, so I do want to move on to. We got a trailer from New York Comic Con this past weekend for Starfleet Academy.
Uh-huh.
And there has been a really, really weird phenomenon where Starfleet Academy is concerned. I have noticed, again, we're going to go back to social media, Twitter, Facebook. A refrain I keep hearing about Starfleet Academy is, and this is one of my pet peeves for any topic, I hate the phrase "nobody asked for this."
Oh God!
The phrase "nobody asked for this" just annoys me because that's not how shows are made. That's not how movies are made. As that junk man once put it, there's not an application you could send to Hollywood to request shows.
Yeah.
Shows and movies are made because somebody had an idea for a story they want to tell, and there's a lot of stories that, on paper, like if you told me, you know, what do you think of this? They sound terrible. When I heard there was going to be a Lego movie, I was like, oh my God, like that sounds awful. Everybody loved that movie. The Barbie movie. Did anyone think that was going to be great? Then we saw the trailers and we're like, oh, there's something here. You don't know what somebody has going on in their mind, what story they came up with. So number one, I just hate that phrase.
Mhm.
Nobody asked for it. If they have a story they want to tell, and they pitched that story and somebody heard that story and said, you got something there. Okay, then let's see it. So that's number one. Number two, it's factually incorrect because I have been a Star Trek fan my whole life. And fans have been asking for a Starfleet Academy series since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Since the Next Generation, every single time there has been a new Star Trek show coming down the pike, the fans have been like, ooh, Starfleet Academy. So this is a fan favorite concept going way back. I thought I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
I mean, I've been excited for it for a while. I before we even got a trailer, I was ready to watch the show. Matter of fact, myself and my partner, we talked about it. Like, when is this coming out? Because we weren't sure when it was getting released. We knew it was in the pipeline. But we watched the trailer together, and both of us were like, "Yeah, this is exactly what we wanted." It feels fresh, but it also feels nostalgic. We're going to see Earth, like we don't get to see Earth a lot on Star Trek. Once in a while it happens, but we get to see Earth, and so that was pretty exciting. It looks like they're going to introduce us to a lot of new characters as well as some older characters that we love. I don't know how much fan service is going to be in there. I do know we're getting the Doctor, which I'm excited to see him back because, as I told you before, Voyager is my favorite show. I know people will be like, it's my least favorite, right? I love Voyager, right? So I'm happy to see the Doctor coming back. So I'm ready for it. Plus Tilly, I love Tilly. I know she's not going to be a major character, but I always enjoy seeing her. So.
And I've come to love Tig Notaro's Jet.
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah.
And I'll tell you something. Also, like I said, the premise, Starfleet Academy, a show about Starfleet Academy, that's something the fans have been buzzing about since the 90s. But as soon as the casting for this show came out, I was like, oh my God, how good must this script have been to attract this kind of talent? We've got an Oscar-winning captain, Holly Hunter. When I heard Holly Hunter signed to play the captain, I'm like, are you kidding me? They got Holly Hunter as the lead on a Star Trek show. Then the word comes out, we got Paul Giamatti.
Right.
Another
who looked incredible in the trailer. I was like, this character, I'm ready to see more from this character.
Right.
Based on what I saw in the trailer.
Exactly. So it's like right there, we got two. Did Paul Giamatti win an Oscar? I know he's been nominated. I think he did. I think he won an Oscar. I know he won an Emmy recently. But anyway, you've got these award-winning actors. Then we hear that Robert Picardo's coming back. Two fan favorites from Discovery are coming back. And then they cast Tatiana Maslany. And I know all the online chuds love to beat her up because she was She-Hulk. But anyone who's seen Orphan Black knows what a tremendous actress she is.
Right.
So the talent on this one, this might be the most insanely stacked cast for a Star Trek series that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I would just like to cut in real quick. Joe, Paul Giamatti never won an Academy Award, but he's been nominated twice.
Okay.
First time for Cinderella Man, the second time for The Holdovers.
He did win the Emmy though, right? Or was it a Golden Globe? I remember he posted pictures of himself at In-N-Out Burger after he won his award, sitting with his award eating. Might have been the Golden Globe.
He won the Golden Globe for The Holdovers. He also won for the John Adams, was the HBO miniseries he did back in the late 2000s. And he also won again for Barney's version, at least the Golden Globes.
Okay. And by the way, Degrassi has been saying for quite some time that Starfleet Academy is already dead. They greenlit 2 seasons right away before the merger, but apparently Degrassi says Skydance is not interested in a 3rd season, and they've already canceled it. Now that does worry me a little because we did see Skydance do the same thing with Dexter Origins or Dexter Original Sin. I can
say this: if they get rid of Paramount, I'm done. That's one of my main. If they get rid of Star Trek, I'll be done with Paramount Plus. I really don't have anything on there I care enough about to keep it. If they get rid of Star Trek, full stop.
They've already got rid of one of my favorite shows. Star Trek and Frasier were my 2 favorite things. And I was so pissed they canceled Frasier after 2 seasons. So yeah, no, if you drop Star Trek too.
Yeah, it'll save me a little bit of money on a subscription service if they do that.
I think what's going to honestly hurt this Star Trek show, the Starfleet Academy, is these little rinky-dink 10-episode seasons. Because we already saw this with Strange New Worlds, where the 5th and final season is going to be shortened. I think it's only going to be 6 episodes. So in total, Strange New Worlds is only going to have 46 episodes across 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you compare it to the original series, it only ran for 3 seasons, but I think had 80 episodes if you include the Cage, or was it 79? That's if you include the Cage.
Yeah, I think I like the short seasons because I feel like we get higher quality episodes. If you watch The Next Generation, I love The Next Generation. There's some bad episodes of The Next Generation. I mean,
there's a lot of blogs out there that tell you can skip 50% of the seasons usually.
What was the joke from Futurama where Fry said, "You never saw Star Trek? 79 episodes, about 20 good ones."
Oh yeah, that was where No Fan Has Gone Before.
Yeah.
That was the one with Welshie.
Yeah, Welshie. Speaking of Welshie, Caitlin Creates says, I watched all your videos on Dragon Con. Thank you. Appreciate it. Will I be there in 2026? Yes. And I keep joking around because my friends from the Topic is Trek podcast are the Futurama group in the parade. They're the Robot Santa that used to close out the parade every year. Though they I think the volunteers close it out now. But they keep telling me you need a Futurama cosplay so you can join us in the parade. And I keep joking I'm going to be Welshie. So there you go. I do know. I don't understand the way a lot of these guys, all the online grifters. I don't really understand the way they think. Because when the trailer for Starfleet Academy came out, the first thing they did was count the white guys. They like were pausing the cast and being like, how many white men are here? And it's like, really? Like that's where your brain goes, because like I watched that trailer 3 times and it didn't even occur to me that there weren't like
they don't. I've come to the conclusion they don't care about art. They're not watching this for art anymore. They're not watching it for story. They are literally just doing this for the paycheck that YouTube gives them once a month. That's my entire belief on them now at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because they did a similar thing with Acolyte where they counted how many children were white and how many were black, and it's like, what are we doing? You accuse progressive people of doing checklists, but I don't see anybody doing checklists except for them. They're the only ones.
Like, I mean, what kind of insecurity is that? Like, you can't watch a show unless there's a white guy there. Like, I mean, like I don't know. Like, my brain couldn't even.
I'm kind of semi joking, even though it's not really joking or whatever. But I feel like it's a mental illness or something like that with them. I just, yeah.
Oh, Lisa says that's how I figured out I knew Joe through our Muppet underground. Lisa and I met because we are both members of an exclusive invite-only Muppets Facebook group, which you had to get invited by Frank Oz. It's a long story behind that, but like Frank Oz had to invite you to get into this group. And Lisa and I were both in the group, and she would see me post in the group. And then one day she saw me at Dragon Con in Adam the Woo's video driving the robot Santa in the parade. So, there you go. Sean says it's a made-up boogeyman. So I don't know. I'm excited. That's all I got. I guess I got to say about Starfleet Academy. But I'm pretty excited.
I mean, I'm happy to see Robert Picardo back. I really enjoyed him on Stargate, and I loved him on Voyager, and I've pretty much loved him in everything I've seen him in. So I'm pretty excited to see him come back.
And he's a Philly guy. I don't know.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
My Philly pride. Yeah, he was actually on the show The Goldbergs. You know the Goldbergs?
Yes, that show was so good for about
half
of its lifetime, and then it got a little bit weird after that.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't even think it was the Goldbergs. It was the spinoff of the Goldbergs. Schooled. They did the spinoff that took place in the 90s.
Oh, I didn't like that at all, though. I didn't watch much of that show. So.
But he played himself on an episode because he went to the same school that Adam Goldberg went to.
Right.
So they did an episode where they were looking like they needed a famous alumni to come in. So they're like, "Oh, Robert Picardo went here." They had him come.
Goldbergs was one of those shows where the premise became stretched so thin by like season 6 or season 7 that I was like, "Okay, I think we've."
Yeah.
I loved it, and then I like fell out of love with it. It was just not great. So
yeah, it's one of those shows that really outlived itself. So
like Supernatural.
I don't know that I really have any more topics. I think those are all the topics I had. I mean, we could rehash Wonder Man again. I like the trailer for Wonder Man, but
Wonder Man is really intriguing to me. I'm very curious about that. I think it's a cool idea. I love the studio with Seth Rogen. I think that was a really great look, like satirical look behind the curtain of Hollywood. And this feels like it might be something similar. I hope it is. I hope that the trailer isn't just showing us like one episode and then after that it's going to be like a regular, typical, like, superhero show, I guess you could say. I like the idea that it's going to flip it on its head a little bit, and I hope they do commit to that. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. And again, I think that the MCU kind of, to me, really shines when you kind of go off the beaten path, like with shows like Agatha, where it's so completely detached from what we have. You get some really good stuff, and I think we might get that with Wonder Man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that trailer. It looks like a lot. I mean, but you know what? As soon as you show me Trevor, you've got me. I loved. I always say there was a lot of revisionist history around Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
because I remember when Iron Man 3 came out, the summer that movie came out, when you had the reveal that he was an actor. Everybody loved that. Like people were like, I remember there were, because the same summer Star Trek Into Darkness came out, and it was like that Benedict Cumberbatch was playing Khan was one of the world's worst secrets. Like everybody knew it. And when he says, "My name is Khan," nobody batted an eye in the theater. But then when you went and saw Iron Man 3 and you get to the reveal that the Mandarin was an actor, everybody was gobsmacked by that. Like it was really a well-kept secret. I
hated that at the time.
Really?
Because I was so hyped for Iron Man 3 because it was going to feature the Mandarin, and I knew I knew who the Mandarin was, and then we're going to fake you out and have him be an actor. That like royally pissed me off at the time when I was sitting there in the theater, and as a result, I only saw Iron Man 3 once and never saw it again because I hated that fake out.
I loved it, and I heard nothing but praise for it. Like at the time, I kept hearing everybody like say how brilliant it was, and then a couple years down the road, suddenly the narrative changed, and I kept hearing people say this is one of the worst MCU movies. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah, I think it was a really risky thing for them to kind of take Tony out of the suit and spend a lot of time in the movie dealing with the trauma from the Battle of New York. I think it was very risky. Was it Shane Black that directed that?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was really interesting for them to do something like that because it kind of gave us our first real peek of like what our characters are going to be dealing with in moments outside of these big battles. And I went back and watched it, and I know that I do have some criticisms of some of the story elements of it, but I think the committing to having Tony outside of the suit dealing with like trauma, fixing himself, I think that was a really smart decision for them to make. So
I think another thing that people didn't like about the fake out was all of the pandering to China at the time.
Oh yeah.
Because like if you know who the Mandarin is, you know why they sort of did the fake out, because they did the same thing in Doctor Strange with Tilda Swinton. Who she was the Ancient One.
Yeah.
Because if you read the comics, the Ancient One was a Tibetan monk, but in the movie they changed her to be Celtic, and that's also what people really did not like at the time, was just the blatant pandering to the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah,
as a please let our movie play in China, because remember with Iron Man 3 there were entire scenes that were shot specifically for China that we never saw in the States.
Yeah, well, you can see them on YouTube though, like you can look them up and see them, but yeah.
By the way, Degrassi, I don't know the story here. Degrassi says, where are all the Sam Raimi stands on Send Help? Oh, right. It's not a Spider Strange movie. They don't care. Where's all the Raimi files who revere him as cinema's greatest, but have only seen 5 of his movies? All right, Degrassi, there's a story there.
I've never seen anyone say that Sam Raimi was like one of like the greatest like directors of all time.
I mean, people love him, but but
I think they're only referring to like Evil Dead and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone.
What was I just saw one recently. I think it was the one Drag Me to Hell. I just saw that.
Drag Me to Hell's good.
Yeah. Yost did Oz the Great and Powerful, which I didn't think was bad. It's not great, but that's the one with James Franco as the Wizard of Oz.
It would have been a lot better. Originally Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to play the Wizard. I think it would have been better if he kept the role, because James Franco. Excuse me. Well, that's all I got. Has anyone got anything else? Anyone got any burning topics?
I'm trying to think. We talked about a lot last night.
Did you hear about Stranger Things season 5 and the episode runtimes?
I did not.
They just got released.
I hope it's not like season 4. I thought the episode runtimes were entirely too long in season.
Well,
4.
they're a little long, but they're not like long. They're not like ridiculously long. I don't think.
I think the shortest is 54 minutes. I'm pulling them up right now.
Oh, James, I do not believe that is true. I do not think Sam Raimi ever directed a Grudge movie.
No, I don't think he ever did.
Yeah. First of all, The Grudge was a remake of a Japanese film, right?
Yeah.
But he did not direct the remake. No, it was. Well, that's the Japanese one. Who directed the? Oh no. The American remake was directed by a Japanese filmmaker, Takashi Shimizu.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, he produced The Grudge. He produced the remake. He didn't direct it, but he produced it.
Okay.
Degrassi, The Gift. Yes.
Okay, I just pulled up the episode runtimes from Variety. The season 5 premiere of The Crawl will run for 1 hour and 8 minutes. Episode 2, With a Tale That Is Yet to Be Fully Revealed, will run 54 minutes. Episode 3, The Turnbow Trap, will run 1 hour and 6 minutes. And Episode 4, Sorcerer, will run 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually confess something. I have never seen a single episode of Stranger Things.
It's a good show. I do feel that they've been like season 4. I thought the episodes were too long. Like I found myself, and when I say too long, I gotta. I don't mean like an arbitrary, just like the show shouldn't be more than an hour. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, I was actually like getting bored watching them. Like I felt like you didn't have enough story to justify that runtime. Like I felt like it was overall a good season, but there was a lot of stuff in there that could have been condensed.
Yeah.
It's the same with like I always go back to Daredevil season 1. People go back and people love Daredevil, and they say, Daredevil was one of the best MCU shows. I'm always like, every season of Daredevil, I think had about 3 episodes too many. where I would get to the end of the season and I'd be like, this is good, this is good, this is good. And in the end, I'd be like, I feel like you're spinning our wheels.
Mm.
And by the way,
let's hear Super Chat Hippo.
For the first time in about 2 years or so, Super Chat Hippo is going to sing us a thank you, Earlville Goblin. Super Chat Hippo is going to sing his song to you.
What a sound.
He's a dog toy.
Is it really?
Yeah, if you didn't know. What do you think about adult content in shows? Depends
on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the show. I mean, if it's a show marketed towards adults, sure. But like, I wouldn't want the orgy scene from Peacemaker on like My Little Pony.
I mean, I feel like this question might be specifically because of all the discourse around that, because that was one of the big ones. The last big one I remember is like how obviously sexual the first couple episodes of Peacemaker were when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like you saw everything.
Yeah.
There was no hiding at all in that first couple episodes. Also, probably Gen V. Gen V also shows a lot too, but the boys do as well. So.
I mean, Star Trek has gotten like way too comfortable, like dropping F-bombs ever since they moved to Paramount Plus.
Now, to be fair, Discovery only did it once. And I didn't like it.
Lower Decks would tend to bleep it out, but it's there.
Lower Decks would bleep it out. Picard was really bad with it, and I don't. Like
I can't stand when they do that, because it's obvious that they're trying to be edgy when they don't need to like drop F-bombs to do it.
We know the actors use that word because if you go to any of their panels, they say it all the time, but you just don't expect to hear it in the show. You know,
when they did it on Discovery, I really felt they were a brand new show and they were trying to get headlines the next day. Star Trek drops first F-bomb. And they succeeded. I really think it was a publicity thing. I think it was, we want that to be the headline the next day. And they got it. I didn't like it. Star Trek was a family show. Like I watched Star Trek with my dad growing up. Like, and I was like, well, this is something I'm not going to watch with my young daughter. That bothered me. And then Picard, I'm like, why are we doing this on Picard? This is sort of a follow-up to the Next Generation.
Pretty much a direct follow-up to it. Like it's 100% that cast. So
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get.
I mean, I think the only one that could get away with it was Lower Decks because it came from Mike McMahon and Rick and Morty. So you could always argue that it was made in the same vein as Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So it was Mike McMahon's Star Trek and not Star Trek proper.
Yeah, it never bothered me on Lower Decks. Like Lower Decks, it felt like this is an animated comedy. But on Picard, Picard was the one that bothered me the most. So I don't know. Also, it doesn't really make sense in canon because Spock had never heard profanity. Like he wasn't like, he's like, I was
always in the impression that society sort of moved beyond that kind of stuff by the time we get to Star Trek, but
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that. So I'm happy they haven't done it on Strange New Worlds.
Right.
Well, I think I'm ready to wrap this up.
Okay.
How do you guys feel?
Yeah, I mean, you got a super chat. It's a good way to like cap off the stream.
I mean, I cannot think of a better way to cap off this stream than by bringing back a nostalgic bit, and that is the stream ending joke. Eric has
not yet, because we still haven't done this. We got to play "It's Almost the End of the Show" theme.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have been doing this since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, every single stream I have to end with the stream ending joke. So here it is.
Okay.
What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Not sure. I mean, I know biologically, but I don't think the joke's calling for biological.
All right. One you'll see later, the other you'll see in a while.
Oh, that's a good one.
What's the difference between toilet paper and the shower curtain?
Don't know what.
So you're the one. Oh boy. All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Good to have Gary back. It's been a long time. Good to have Eric here, and I don't know. Is the perp stream still going strong? Let's see. Everybody go. Storm the perp stream and give him crap for not being here, man. Dude streams every night. He could have joined us. All right, everyone. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open it, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander pajamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. I know we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.
Just so that you guys know. We have Crazy Joe with the $5 super chat saying Skywalker said he pulled up on gun. A pull-up is a brand of diaper. Did Skywalker admit to crapping his pants in Hall H? I think he did, and he also informed me that right after he did so, your mother was the one that wiped his bottom